Let's get hype, everyone. This is a big one for frag heads.
That's right.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's Jess.
Hi, it's Jen. Welcome to Fat Mascara, a podcast about beauty culture. Today only, actually sometimes, a podcast about fragrance culture.
This is a goodie. If you love fragrance, there's a really good chance that you know of and quite possibly love Mr.
Kurkdjian, Francis Kurkdjian.
You've definitely smelled one of his fragrances, whether you know it or not.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely you have. So many hits. We'll talk about some of them. But in case you're not familiar with his very, very prestigious resume, he is the head of his own perfume company, Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And since 2021, he's also served as the perfume creation director for a little fashion house called Christian Dior. So we're so lucky to have Francis here, direct from Paris, virtually, in the virtual studio. Shall we get into it?
Let's do it. Okay, listen. Francis?
I don't know. I speak French, so in French we say Francis.
Francis. Okay.
Francis.
First of all, this is living up to all my expectations. Jen and I have met you several times before, but we've never had this one-on-one FM interview, which, by the way, has been in the works for a while.
Really? How come?
Your people were talking to our people, and it was a whole hullabaloo, okay?
Okay, all right.
And not really a hullabaloo. It was just, it took time.
A fabulous collaboration.
It was a collab, as they say.
Okay.
And now you're sitting in your office, which as we panned out, I was like, is this a rotunda? Your office is everything that our listeners are expecting. You're sitting under a Baccarat chandelier.
You want me to show?
I mean, I don't know if our...
Okay.
Okay, you give us a virtual... Remember, this is audio, so take us through, give us a mini tour.
Okay, sorry. It's audio, of course. But
it's okay.
I can give you a mini tour. So there is a chandelier above my head. Yeah. Oh, look, if it's an audio, hold on.
The Baccarat tinkle.
Très élégant. Be careful. Be careful.
This is my Baccarat.
Okay.
I think he has friends there if it breaks. It's fine.
They'll replace crystals for you, like one by one. Okay, he's got a couch from Versailles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can scratch the fabric.
Oh, it's ASMR, everyone. We're getting multi-sensory experience.
This is so good. We need a show, Shan. We need a show. Producers, give us a buzz. And then what else do we have? Just give us one more objet from the room before we kick in.
An amazing mandarin tree right there, sitting in my office.
Yes.
Is it real?
I've got it for 15 years. I've got it for 15. It was given by... So what can I do? Like scratch a leaf?
We hear it. We're in the trees.
And it smells like mandarin. And it was given by my business angel, whose name is Annette. And Annette, she is an entrepreneur. She's an amazing woman. I had lunch with her today because we still hang out together. She's above 70-ish now. But she runs a company that is a stock market company where she runs a boat sailing company. She sells amazing boats. And she founded with Marc and I. She basically created the house in 2009. And she gave me the tree and she told me once, and I never forgot it, take care of the tree and make sure you have flowers and fruits because it shows that the company is healthy. And right now we have lots of fruits. I'm very happy.
So the company is very healthy. Yes.
Yeah, very healthy. And we're going to talk all about this company. Jen and I have a lot of questions. This is not an accident that you're sitting in this decked out office with everything that you would imagine. If this was a movie about a perfumer, this is what the office would look like. You were 14 years old and we heard that you knew that you wanted to be a perfumer after reading an article in a magazine. Is that true?
Yeah, I still have the article and the magazine, and I met a month ago, I met one of the perfumer who was in the magazine.
Stop.
No.
Who was it?
Jean-Louis Ciezac. Jean-Louis is the first name, Ciezac is the name. And the guy, just to give some names, just created Opium by Yves Saint Laurent, the 1977 one. And he's credited as well for Oscar de la Renta, the very first perfume for Oscar de la Renta. And then he co-created basically also Fahrenheit from Christian Dior.
Guys, I love it. We even have the French police sirens in the background. Evocative.
It's not the police. Those are the firemen because the office is nearby a firehouse. So we have like at least sometimes twice, 3 times a day. Sometimes we hear the sirens. So it's like being in a very urban environment. Because from where I'm seated, I have an overlook on a beautiful place, which I love. I just forgot it. Sorry. All of a sudden, I have a blank as I'm speaking English. Place des Victoires. My office overlooks at Place des Victoires, which is an amazing site in Paris, behind the Palais Royal.
Okay. That I know.
So my neighbor basically here is Alexandre Matussi from Ami, the brand Ami, the menswear brand. Alexandre Matussi, he's sitting 100 meters away from me.
Oh,
Tell him
cool.
we say hello.
Yeah, I will.
So what happened when you read this article as a teenager? What clicked in?
It's not only that article, it was also that article. It was also because my mother was wearing, I believe, amazing perfumes. And also there was that movie I saw on TV named Le Sauvage, The Savage. It's a story with Catherine Deneuve. It's starring Catherine Deneuve and Yves Montand. And Yves Montand is playing the role of a perfumer based in New York City. And Catherine is at the peak of her, not the peak because she's a beautiful woman, but in that movie, she's just amazing. And I thought that the whole movie is insane. And the whole thing together between my mother's perfume, the article, and Catherine Deneuve, and I was in the middle of searching a sense for my life, maybe, because right before that, I wanted to be a ballet dancer. And in France, you have, at the time, 40 years ago, basically, I didn't have that much choice between going to the Paris Opera Ballet or doing nothing. I remember when I was young at school, my French teacher, literature, she used to read a quote from Victor Hugo saying that I want to be Chateaubriand ou rien. So basically, I want to be at the top or nothing. And I believe that when I understood that I wouldn't be able to become a ballet dancer as good as I wanted, I just decided to quit ballet and to do something else. And it took me very little to understand that I will go for perfume, because perfume to me still now is a mystery. I have few samples on my desk, and from that era, I was collecting my sister was collecting samples, perfume samples as well. And when you open a bottle of perfume, it's a world gets out of a bottle, basically. This is what perfume is about to me. It's literally...
I think everyone who loves perfume feels the same way. And I think you either get it or you don't.
And it's not a matter of price and being expensive perfume or cheap perfume. In the US, you have an amazing brand. I'm not even sure if it's around, but Old Spice is an amazing perfume. You have the first Gloria Vanderbilt perfume. You have Brut by Fabergé. You have, of course, the Calvin Kleins and the Elizabeth Arden and all those brands. But literally, when you open a bottle of perfume, it's a silent world that steps out, and all of a sudden, that world gets its habitants, living people. All of a sudden, you have faces coming out of the bottle. You have voices, you have places with people you used to hang out. You have your grandparents, maybe, or your parents, or friends, brothers, sisters. It's like... it's humanity, basically. Perfume is
or
very
a place
much...
that you want to go, a place where you see yourself.
All places where you see, but to me, it's more linked to... most of the time, it's linked to people, mostly.
Which were the big ones when you were growing up that you really were inspired by?
I was not so much inspired by the perfume itself, but by the entire product. Because to me, a perfume is not just a scent. Perfume is also a name. You know, I have sitting on my, right there, I show it to you, it's reversed, but it's called Bel Ami, okay? It's by Hermès. But if I open the bottle and I smell it, I know the name is Bel Ami. I know that the brand is Hermès. And when I smell it, it's not the same thing that if the name of the product was something different. I give you an example. There is 2 perfumes from Guerlain, that amazing French brand, Guerlain, that they were created in the 20s, 1920s, okay? One, the name of the first one is Chalimar, okay? The name of the second one is Jardin de mon curé, the garden of my priest. They were perfumed to be worn, okay? What do you expect to wear as a scent when the name of the perfume is Jardin de mon curé, the garden of my priest? You know, the name is very important in a way.
Which one is still around and popular?
Yeah, you see? No, just to say that a perfume is not just a scent. A perfume is also the name, like the piece of art. What is Mona Lisa or La Gioconda if it was not named La Joconde, you know, or Mona Lisa? What is Guernica as a painting if you remove the name Guernica and you call it just randomly number 4?
Yeah.
So I believe at some point the name of the perfume is as important as the scent, because when you wear the perfume and you talk to someone who is asking, what do you wear? Oh, I wear the garden of my priest, you know?
Oh, then the whole conversation changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I was also very much in love with the perfume, the bottle, the name, the stories, even the advertising that was behind.
You got the whole concept and you got it very early. You locked in. You weren't just I read somewhere that you were like, I'm not a nose. You were very.
No, I'm not a nose. I'm not a nose.
Yeah.
But from a very young age, I'm not a nose for a very long time.
You are not a nose. You are, you know, how do you like to describe yourself? Like, how would you describe?
I'm a perfumer. I create perfumes.
But a perfumer, but you also since, like I was saying, from day one, like you saw the whole world, the bottle, the ad, the whole vision.
If you go back to the origin of the craft and what it was to be a perfumer 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. I have books in my library. They are like 400 years old, and they describe how to become a perfumer, how to learn perfumes, and basically, I am one of those guys. There is no difference between Jacques Guerlain, I believe, in 1925 and myself today. Because those perfumers, before fashion took over, because why do we have a blur nowadays? It's because in 1920, basically, fashion took over perfumes because of Coco Chanel. With Chanel number 5, 1921, basically, Chanel steps in the world of perfumes, and basically she takes it over. In her sillage, in her trail, all the other brands comes, and basically it's the end of perfumers. Because before that, a perfumer was someone who was at the same time crafting perfumes and selling perfumes. The same name goes for two different jobs, basically.
So then you had the designer perfume.
Yes.
And then the nose behind it.
Yes, totally.
Oh, is this why you put Maison in your brand name?
No, I put Maison because for 2 reasons. I put Maison as a tribute to Maison de Couture in a way, to a couture house, and also to craftsmanship, because in France, when we use the word Maison, we don't say brands, because we have that kind of snobbish stuff, to be honest. It's a bit snobbish in a way, but I genuinely love it. And I put it in the very first press release when we launched the Maison in 2009, as a statement, I said, I'm not using Maison as a posture. I'm using Maison because a house has owners, a house has inhabitants, a house has friends, and some houses they have even kids. And to me, behind the word maison, and also because a maison, you pass it on the keys. I am currently the owner with Marc Chaya, and we are running, but we sold a majority stake to LVMH. So one day the house will belong to LVMH, and there will be another perfumer sitting, I hope, in this office, sitting at my desk and thinking the craft the way I imagine it, in a way. But maison to me is about, there is more depth in my French mind, in a way, than just saying it's a brand. Because before being a brand, first, it's myself, it wears my name. And it's a maison, meaning it's alive, A brand seems to me a bit too cold.
And short-lived.
Not necessarily, but at least this is how in France we talk about brands when they are at a certain level of craftsmanship. We say maison. It's very specific to France.
You mentioned that the name is as important as the bottle, as the scent. Do you always get to have a say in the name? Let's talk about Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male.
Always. No, Le Male. When he was for other brands, at the time it was my first perfume. So it was 1994. The fragrance was released in 95, but it was in 94. So it was my first perfume. So I had nothing to, I was unknown. I was 24 years old. So it was not, it was not, no way I had to say anything about it. And when I look at the name and the bottle in the office, when I saw for the very first time, after all those efforts, 9 months, it took me 9 months to create the perfume, I saw the thin can in metal, I saw the mannequin with the bulge and the stripes.
The torso, yeah.
I said, oh my God, it's gonna be a disaster.
Why?
Because I was at the time very conservative in a way. Because
Were
when
you?
I was 14, because to me, perfume was linked to couture. Couture houses were like 10. You had less than 10 couture houses in Paris. They were all in Avenue Montaigne because Rue Saint-Honoré in Paris. So basically, to make it relevant for the US, it's like downtown versus uptown or midtown. When you think about you have Upper East Side shops where very few people go. It's basically Avenue Montaigne. If you go midtown by Madison, it's very chic and elegant. So it's like Rue Saint-Honoré. And then you have downtown, which is cool and chic and hype. Paris is more or less the same way in a very limited area, though. So le Triangle d'Or, the gold triangle, as we say, is where you had only couture houses, not ready to wear. Only couture houses. You had no place for catering, no restaurant, nothing. And you had only couture houses and very few people who used to live there. And no tourists.
No sexy naked sailor with stripes?
Nothing like that. And all of a sudden, so that was my ideal world as a perfumer, was to work for Nina Ricci, Yves Saint Laurent, and Givenchy, and Christian Dior, and Chanel. And all of a sudden, I have that guy who puts those men with kilts, who knows what he's under. Who knows what they were under, with like tin tanks and like crazy stuff and like, no, it's not me. No, I'm lost. I was 24 years old and I was totally lost. I was like, oh my God, what I'm doing here.
Wait, first of all, you were 24.
Yes, I was 24. Yeah.
I mean, you probably know, but how many iterations of that fragrance have been around since? What a huge hit it was. And you were only 24?
And it's getting a new hype because they just released a perfume version out of it. And that thing is going viral. So basically, the boys...
You were wrong.
The boys.
So first I was wrong. And now the boys... The guys who are wearing it today were not even born 30 years ago.
They have no idea.
So it's like in a way, I'm old enough now to be part of the history, which is kind of scary when you think about it.
I think it smells great. I think it's very sexy. I love it.
You think it's sexy?
I do.
But I'm not that old.
I love it.
I know, but I'm not that old. I'm not like 70 yet. I'm just 54. 50. I'm turning 56 this year. So it's kind of scary to think that at 56, you're a part of history. I don't know if I like it very much, to be honest.
Well, you look good.
Well,
It's
you at
not about
least
looking
get-
good, it's more in your head, you know?
yeah. So I'm curious how you take your approach and make it different for the different projects that you work on, whether it's for your own maison, other places. It's always you. It's always the same. Tell us how that all works.
It's believe it or
shaking his
not,
head.
it works exactly the same way for every single project I work on. I work exactly the same way. Meaning, what do we have to say? What is the purpose? Why? It's all about why. What is the story? Why are we launching a new perfume? Why do we need a new perfume? To do what? Why? And then I start to either create the story from scratch. So when it's at Dior or when it's at my own maison, this is how it works, from scratch. Or do I need to back it up with a history? So sometimes for Dior, because Dior is a history brand, it's a 75 years old brand, basically. So we have a heritage department where you can dig into stories and so on. So I'm going to read books, interviews, and so on. And before that period of time of my life, when I was for Jean-Paul Gaultier or all the other brands I worked for, even Narciso Rodriguez, or when I worked for Elizabeth Arden in the US, it's let's create a story. And once you have your story, my job is just to translate wording, images into a scent. What you can't tell with images, what you can't say with words, what you can't tell with music, I use scent to express it. So basically, I speak the untold.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You speak the untold.
Yeah.
So what else, when you look at all of the other perfumers that are around today, and maybe even those that came before you, what do you feel you bring what is your sort of trademark? What is your imprint?
That's a tough question.
I'm not asking you to be like braggadocious. I'm just saying, like, what's your
point of difference? Like,
maybe it's something
freedom.
Freedom.
I think.
Freedom.
Yes.
And why are you free?
I'm free because I'm not saying I'm free, but I'm always looking for my freedom. But I'm not saying I'm free. Because when you create a perfume is not an art piece first, and I think your audience must understand that. Maybe there is artistry behind it. You can start with an artistic mood or an artistic vision as a starter, but at the very end, you have to please. I have to please an audience. I have to seduce people with my perfume because a perfume is meant to please. A perfume is meant to be beautiful. A perfume is meant to enhance happiness. The perfume is meant to enhance sexiness. The perfume is here to be worn and to create emotions, but positive emotions. Who wants to wear a perfume that brings you tears? Who wants to wear a perfume that is about crime and desperation and blood and
okay,
wars?
that would be art. Yeah, not.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe some artist, a downtown artist. I'm sure is working on this now. Yeah,
of course, but so there is a big limit. That is the limit of it. So I'm not free because when I create, even though when I start working on a new perfume, most of the time there is an artistic beginning. I'm inspired by a painting. I can be inspired by Rothko, by music, by something, At some point, I need to think about my final consumer. I need to think about that man or woman, he, she, who, whatever, think that's going to be, and the perfume worn, thinking, what are you going to feel wearing it?
when you say your final consumer, I'm sure your consumer is like everybody now. Not everybody, but like you have so many consumers. You have a very broad audience
This is why
today.
I'm not thinking about my consumer. I'm thinking about a universal feeling. I learned that I was lucky enough, I worked with amazing designers and I always think about him because he was a great designer. Albert Elbaz, when he was working at Lanvin. And I met him a couple of times while I was working for him. And one day, it was one of my first encounter, and he said, "Oh, Francis, you have to remember this. You have to remember that you must think universal, not global. Because universalism has depth and feelings. And every time I create a perfume, and since that moment with Albert, I was doing it before, but I was never able to verbalize it, express it. But thanks to Albert, when I think about a story, my mind goes, okay, now, if I'm in Japan, is my client in Japan is going to understand my story? If I switch and I go to the US, whether I am in Houston, LA, or New York, is my consumer over there is going to understand what I'm talking about? If I jump and take a plane to Italy, Spain, England, Germany, is this ringing in people's mind? So it's not about, I know that, as you said, I am lucky my people who love us, they are everywhere from multi-generational, from many different fields, from many different, I have a very diverse client.
Yeah. And especially in the past few years, yeah.
Because it goes from NBA in the US to the very chic Left Bank in Paris to... I was in Vienna this weekend and I was stopped in the street twice because people wanted to take pictures with me. I felt embarrassed because I don't like the fame with perfume, but I was happy at some point because there were two different moments, two different types of people, and they were touched by my work. And I have to say, because we believe, with my business partner and Marc, we believe that it's about people. Perfume is about people. You know, you have to speak the language of sincerity. You have to speak something very simple and get rid of the concept, because it's not about concept, it's about stories.
Well, why don't we talk about one of your big stories?
Yeah, this universality that you talked about, is that always success? Because you've had some successes.
Yeah, but I have big failures as well, and you learn also from your failures. You know, we always
let's talk about both. Let's talk about both. This is
but we
interesting.
always speak about successes. Okay, so I know.
Do you think with the failures, did you lose track of what you just told us? That thing about pleasing the people? Why do you think you had some failures?
Because failures, sometimes the name is awkward.
Okay.
Because the name is like the Garden of My Priest, is an awkward name. Because sometimes the name plus the shape of the bottle, plus the color of the bottle, plus the ad, plus makes it ugly or unbearable.
Can you share what one of the failures was? We don't talk about failure that much, do we?
Of course not, because people are ashamed about failing.
Of course.
But failing is a good thing if you learn from why you failed, basically. And sometimes the concept of the story is too complicated and it doesn't work because people don't get it. What could be a big failure at Maison? Or the smell or the scent is too...
Well, it doesn't have to be at Maison. Just like what was something...
No, I have some... I did a scent for Jean-Paul Gaultier named Fragile. And it was an amazing bottle. It was a conceptual
It was
bottle.
like a globe, a snow globe.
Yeah, but snow globe. Once you press on the perfume goes down. At some point, the girl in the globe, in the snowball, her head is above... The head is above the line of the perfume.
I remember
this. She's jumping in the globe. You know, she's like swimming or like dying or diving or whatever is in the globe. At some point, she has a perfume half the waist. And because you have a kind of a zoom effect with the glass ball, the thing is out of dimension, so it doesn't make sense. Or another perfume for Jean-Paul Gaultier I made was To the Power of Two, Gaultier Puissance 2. In French, the name of... You see, you're like bronzing your eyebrow. You don't even know what... Because
I don't know this one.
It was a disaster. Because it was impossible to translate the concept in English.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
Doesn't sound great. No offense.
No, it was not. And the perfume, and they released the perfume now and it's doing kind of well because they relaunched the perfume.
I do think the first one was cool, the Fragile. Anyway,
Fragile was cool, but too complicated. You needed two hands to spread the bottle. What the heck? Doesn't make sense. People are used to take a bottle, you spray once with your one finger, you know? Voilà, easy. How come you need two hands? How come you need all of a sudden all your fingers to press on the bottle to get some perfume? You know? No. We need practical things. No, sometimes I have done some... I had some big flops.
On the other side, you definitely have had some hits.
Yes.
And I think a lot of perfumers wish they went out and every project ended up being a viral hit, as you called it earlier.
Yeah. I'm lucky because my hits are game changers.
What do you think of as your hits? We know what we think, but what do you think of as your hits?
Le Mal, of course.
What are the greatest hits by Francis?
Le Mal, Green Tea, Elizabeth Arden, because it's still around. And when you go to duty
What was the one you said by Elizabeth
Green
Arden?
Tea by Elizabeth
Green
Arden.
Tea.
Oh.
It's still around. 1999. When you understand that you have about more than 400 perfume launches a year, and your perfume is still there year after year on every single duty-free of the planet.
And the company makes 17 flankers with the name, even though there's no tea in them.
Yes, and the green tea is still around. I clap myself, and I always take a picture and I send it to the PR guy in Paris, with whom I launched green tea in 1999 in Paris. And I say, hello, Carl, here we go. So green tea. Then we have Narciso Rodriguez. Then we might have, for the very, very fragrance specialists, we have Au Noir by Christian Dior in 2004. Au Noir with Eddie Slimane. Then we have maybe Elisa was a hit. Then 2009. Then we have, of course, and we have Rouge, of course, in 2014.
There she is.
And maybe one or two others, but voilà.
I wore Rouge today in honor of you.
Merci, thank you. What is interesting when you have a hit is, are you going to change the course of the perfume history? That's interesting to me.
Do you think Rouge did that? Baccarat Rouge?
Oh, yeah, totally.
How so?
First of all, when you smell a perfume now, which is close or which is a direct inspiration, you say, oh, c'est un rouge, it's a rouge. So basically, the perfume becomes like the name of a family. Like, it smells like angel, or it's a number 5. Because when you smell a floral aldehydic perfume, you say, oh, it smells like number 5. So it is a number 5, or it is a Shalimar, or it is an opium.
You mean you smell it? Like you go and even you're looking and you smell things, you smell things that are inspired by.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
But when you're searching for things, like I'm seeing literal like dupes that say there's one there. I was laughing the other day. I saw a thing that was like, I don't want to call out these actual brands, but one of them was like smells like Baccarat Rouge. It was like a pack
smells
of two.
like ambery saffron.
Yeah,
of course. But you know what? You can claim you are mimicking, you can claim that you are copying, but there is no exact copy of Rouge because Rouge is very, very, very special. So you may be trapped once or twice because you think that you're going to get cheaper, but the reason why the Maison is famous as well is because of the quality of the product. And also the ratio between the price we ask for and the quality. The reason why my product is expensive is not just because I want to be in the same level of whatever brands who is expensive. I am expensive because I have a raw material, the quality of my perfume, the craftsmanship and the time I spend behind each single perfume to be there in the bottle. The quality of the raw material is the equation to make the price.
It's not commensurate with the price. Do you feel when you look at those brands that are duping you, what is your what emotion comes up? And it sounds like a little bit therapy speak, but how do you feel?
Duping is stealing, basically. It's violer les droits. Violating rights. Of course, it's easy to say that a perfume formula can't be patented. No one can patent a formula. Why can we patent a piece of music? Why can't we patent a piece of a formula, which is basically the formula is here. This is a formula. Okay, your readers can't see it, but basically, it's like a recipe. Okay, it's a fragrance recipe. So why can't we protect a fragrance recipe while you can protect the design of a handbag? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I feel flattered, of course, because if we don't copy things. I mean, things with no value are not copied, of course. So the market is about copying or being inspired by relevant things, of course. So if you are copied, it means you are relevant. So it means you exist. So I have to say there is a little bit of pride that fades very quickly once you understand that copies and knocks off and dupes is a cool chic to say just a copy. You know? Dupe is a new world to say it's a copy.
Is there anything you're aware of that your industry is doing to fight it, or is
It's
it just
very slow. It's very slow. Unfortunately, the industry. So in France, we're getting organized. First of all, every time there is an article about dupes, we're calling back the journalists to explain, not to be nasty, but just to explain. Dupes is a new word to express and to talk about copies. It's cool. Dupes is cool. It's like a millennial. When I was young, they used to call myself a teenager. Now now the same. We went from millennial to Gen Z to millennial or whatever. The word changes, but the meaning is the same. You steal the intellectual property of someone by wearing a copy, a fake product.
So do you think the word like dupe is sort of like making light of basically stealing? The word, like it's like a cutesy pie word for like you're stealing.
You dupe, those brands are very clever, and they dupe the brand they copy, but they dupe also the consumer. You, as a buyer of a dupe, you are dupe as well because you think you buy the exact same thing, but it's not. Now we see it on social media, TikTok, and mostly TikTok and Instagram, but mostly TikTok. When you follow the dupe brands, after a few months, sometimes 1 or 2 years, they basically shut down the company because customers starts to email back or complain that the perfume is not close enough, the perfume doesn't last, the perfume is not good, the perfume gives you harshes. You are dupe as a consumer, you're also a dupe yourself.
So I assume you have not bought the Walmart Birkin bag.
We heard about it. I wonder how come people can be stupid enough to buy such an item, because how come the quality of the leather... I know because I buy my leather goods. We have scented leather goods at Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but we sell them only in Paris. But I buy at the same place as Hermès. I know that we have the same suppliers. I wonder how come Walmart can pretend that they sell the same quality bag for such a cheap price. It's just impossible.
Yeah, it's that whole conversation is very
far away from perfume.
No. But there's the same principles. Okay, so out of all of your scents, what do you think is the most misunderstood perfume?
I don't know. I'm not so sure if my scents, if one of them is misunderstood.
Maybe one that like hasn't gotten the glory that you feel it quite deserves.
You know what? When it happens, and it had happened, I always believe it's my fault. I will never blame the public. I blame myself, always.
Okay.
Because it's my mission.
A good answer.
Because it's my work, it's my mission, it's my job. So how come I can blame the public for not understanding me? It's so pretentious. It's fucking pretentious. No, but it's pretentious, to be honest.
So you're not an artist, as you've already told us.
No, it's not about being an artist, but how come all of a sudden you say, I am the one who knows, you know? I know you don't. I know. Yeah. And pointing out people, I know.
Do you ever wish, though, you had a baby that you loved? You put it out in the world and you were like, I wish he got more love.
But I am here to love them.
Okay, you'll love it.
Okay, you know what? This is very insightful. Yeah, I'm not going to make you I'm not going to shoehorn this question in. Okay, that's fine. That's very insightful. I like it. All right, you do a lot with your fragrances. They don't just sit there on a shelf. You've scented exhibitions and performances all around the world. Paris, Versailles, Shanghai, Florence, Vienna. What are some other ways that you want to share fragrance with people in the world around us?
Some other ways?
Yeah. You've even done fragrance bubbles, which are adorable.
We do fragrance bubbles. We do fragrance bubbles. We do many things. I love stepping out of the bottle, I have to say. I love perfume to go elsewhere. It's like if you believe that perfume can be an art. perfume right now in a bottle is not an art. I explained it.
Okay.
But the world of smell can be art and can work as an art form, can be an art form. The same way photography, the same way images. You know, some images are meant to be to help to sell. This is advertising. Some images stay in your family album. They are souvenirs. And some images, they go into galleries and they hang out in museums. And those photos are art. And behind the camera, each time, you may have the same person. It's just the hat changes. And basically, I always considered that when I understood that perfume in a bottle was not art, I said, okay, but I feel being an artist sometimes. So I need to find my way and my playground to be such a person so I don't care about if she or he is beautiful. Am I creating beautiful moments? It's about the pure emotion of through your nose, you express, you feel emotions. Then I am an artist. Then you as a visitor or as someone who experiments the perfume, you may pretend that this is art. This is why I started very soon to take out of the perfume out of the bottle.
Right. When you're doing that, do you not think about that universality thing you thought about before? People want to smell beautiful.
No, it's
you
not
don't have
about me.
to.
No, because all of a sudden
That's
it's not about
fun,
them.
right?
It's not about them, it's about me. If I want to express with an artist the blood, the smell of blood, the smell of earth, if I want to express the smell of money with what I did with Sophie Calle 20 years ago, if I want to express the feeling of...
What did you do? Sorry, I'm not familiar. What did you do with Sophie?
Sophie,
20 years
we
ago?
created in 2003. She was looking for the smell of money.
And you made it.
And I was just back from the US. I used to live in New York City. And at the time, it was not about the smartphone. It was about the bill. $1 bill, that you had in your hands to pay. And you had 20.
Yes.
We've done it, okay? To pay the cab, to pay the hamburger industry, to pay the pretzel, and the sticky $1 bill, okay? So I was fresh out of New York, and I was like, okay, Sophie, I'm gonna make you the smell. I'm gonna make you smell a $1 bill. So I created a scent that mimics the $1 bill, and she
That's really interesting.
made a whole story about it. And this year, at the end of the year, we'll be celebrating, in a way, my 30th anniversary. So we're doing a big thing in Paris for fall, like a retrospective of my work. And it's retrospective, introspective, and futuristic thing about my work. And we are getting back with money. We're coming back with the smell of money in a different way. But I love doing those things because it's interesting to play with that, to play with scent. It's very interesting.
Well, it feels like a very timely exhibit, so it will be very cool. When is that on?
Paris, October 27 for a month in Paris. And then we're trying to make it happen in the US as well.
Definitely let us know. We have listeners in Paris too, but certainly a lot of US-based listeners.
Yeah, as we're wrapping up here, I'm curious about you personally, since you're not always in the work that you create. But what do you wear on a daily basis? Even not fragrance. Like, how do you like?
What is my grooming? What is my grooming?
What are your favorite products?
Routine. I have a Christophe Robin shampoos. He's a good friend of mine, and he gave me so much product before he left the company and closed his salon that I have product for years. So
he has stockpiled Christophe Robin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So but I love Christophe so much. My dermatologist told me I know people are going to scream, but I promise I don't smell. But I don't use much soaps and liquid soaps under my shower. I just shower twice a day with hot water because my dermatologist told me that the skin is like onions, so you peel every day, and after 3 weeks, after 21 days, your skin is all over, is brand new again. And she told me not to get too much wrinkles, to wash, to clean, but not to use too many detergents. So my skin is not...
Your microbiome is very healthy.
Yes. And I have to say, I don't use any deodorant, and I have no body odor, because after a while, after 2 or 3 months of this routine, your body starts to change. Of course, I use shampoo, but I'm thinking about shower gel. So I use very little product for that. And I don't wear perfumes.
I mean, you can't with your work, right?
No, I don't wear perfumes because, first of all, I wear work in progress, first of all. So work in progress, I wear them during the week, but during the weekend, it's a good way also when I create a perfume to see if I have any reactions from the audience I'm meeting. So basically, if I go out during the weekend, if I wear a perfume and if I have no comments, I am depressed for 2 or 3 weeks.
You want people to talk about
Of course.
Don't we all when we spray something on? Like, you kind of want people to say something.
And if no one tells me that I smell good, it's a disaster for me.
Oh, no.
So I wear that on the weekends, and when I'm off, I don't wear anything because I'm off.
Yeah.
And I don't like to wear perfume myself because I always feel that there is someone in my back or someone around. I don't like that at all. I'm not comfortable with. But I love my friends and I love my family to wear perfumes. I love that. I love scented people around me. I really enjoy it.
Me too.
But I don't like it myself.
Do you always ask your friends and family, do they ask for your opinion on what they're wearing?
No.
Do you give it?
No. Unless I'm asked.
Okay.
I only give my opinion when I'm asked on anything, any matter.
How un-American of you.
Really?
I know.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, we'll give our opinion
Jen.
when no one asks us.
No. I don't like that.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
But because I am so frank that maybe my friends also don't like me.
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. If you ask, I'm going to tell you the truth. Yeah, I like that.
And I think I have good friends because they know that if they ask, it's
real.
It's real. No concession.
Here comes the wrecking ball.
Yeah. I am like, are you really sure you want to know?
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I need more friends like Francis.
You don't think I'm that person for you, Jessica?
You can be. Yeah, you can. Do you want it? She goes, do you want advice or do you want to feel better?
Yes. But sometimes you need to
that?
tell the truth to feel better. Most of the time, we need to get the truth. Sometimes it's very hard, and I got that from my ballet lessons and ballet class, because basically when my teacher used to tell my ballet teacher used to tell me, your best teacher is the mirror.
Oh,
that's very tough.
Your best teacher is a mirror.
To be better in whatever you do in life, you need to face truth. Otherwise, it doesn't work. At least for me, and I expect that from my friends and even my coworkers. When I'm in the studio and we work on a product, if I ask my team, "What do you think about the design?" I expect I expect to have a fair answer an honest answer and the truth.
And they know you can handle it. And it doesn't mean you're going to change what you're doing, but you want to hear.
But it's part of the job, and to handle it is very important. It's very important to me.
Yeah.
Before we let
Sometimes
you go, Jess,
it's not nice.
Jess, do you want to do the Fat Mascara 5 with Francis?
Yeah,
This is our little quick round,
Okay.
quick questions.
Quick
to
and
end our
cute. Quick and
interview.
cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the first beauty product you fell in love with? Could be a fragrance. Could just be like floss.
The nail polish of my mother.
Oh, what? Just like on her fingers or like in the bottle?
On mine.
Oh, you're so funny. he's fake painting his nails right now. What color was it? That was really funny.
Red, I believe in the 70s it was, or maybe orange or red, something, I don't know. But I loved, she had a beauty drawer with all the lipstick and the nail polish. So I guess I stole one.
Oh my God, that was so
I used
cute.
to play with dolls, so.
Okay, I've been dying to ask you this. Okay, we could do a whole second bonus episode on this. What is your favorite fragrance ad? You must have so many thoughts on all the fragrances. Let's do it, Francis.
I think I love Paris by Yves Saint Laurent, the original ad. That must be in 1984, because you see a woman in a car going from the French Riviera driving up to Paris with kind of Van Gogh colors all through the the ad, and all of a sudden, while she arrives in Paris, all of a sudden, she looks in the mirror of the car, the front mirror. In the back, you see that she has two guys in the back seat.
Scandal.
So cool. It's so French. It's so French and so Saint Laurent. I love it so much.
Oh my God,
That's a
so
cool
good.
ad. That's a
So
very
good.
good ad. That's so smart. So smart. And so avant-garde.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay. Most indulgent snack.
Snack?
Yeah,
Snack?
snack. Yeah.
I try not to. I need to be careful right now a little bit. But a snack, I love bananas.
That's not very indulgent.
Ah, really? Why?
Oh my God.
It's too healthy.
I'm French.
I know this is
No, but I can
that
open.
ballet school really really wormed its way into your
I love
psyche.
overripe bananas, I have to say.
Overripe bananas. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because they are sweeter.
TV show you're currently watching.
I love Saturday Night Live. We have them on in France. I love it because you guys have something that we don't have. Definitely, the sense of show. You know,
A sense of show, like
Show.
silliness.
to be no, mais stage. I remember when I was in New York City when I quit ballet when I was 24 and I was at the time in New York City. It was for me French ballet, French class, French style, and in Broadway City I found a class in Broadway City. It was a Romanian teacher, and all the boys. First of all, they were like 6'2" at least, muscled and big muscles and that. But the way they I was like very delicate and most fragile. But the way they used to twin and twirl and do their thing was like stage, you know?
Yeah.
We don't
Okay,
have
I
that.
get it. Like this kind of thing.
Yes, like you're on stage.
Jazz
Like when you go,
hands.
when you are at the New York City Ballet, when they're on stage. This is America, and you got it. And Saturday Night Live.
They get it.
And you have fun of it. You have joy. And Saturday
Yeah.
Night Live, to me, you have that thing and so much fun. No, I love it so
I'm
much.
so glad that I never thought of
That's
it that
something-
way. Okay, I'm acting like I have any stake in Saturday Night Live. I'm so glad you like it. Okay, the last thing. What's the last note on your notes app?
On my notes app? Okay, let me check now. I think it's about notes. Is it something funny? I hope. No, because sometimes I
Or
design.
not too private.
Not too private.
Private chat.
I don't know.
No, I have my journal because I'm writing something. It's about what I'm eating right now, so it's not so much fun. No, my last notes, no, not much fun. It's about my diet.
It's his log. It's his food log for his journal.
So, no, yeah, from now it's like
One
what I
ripe
had
banana.
Yeah. No, I have yes, no, it was not fun. Verbinati.
No, but you told us the
Vervel.
truth, and that's what you're all about. The truth, right?
Verbinati. Right now it's all about that. Usually on my notes, no, I don't put. I send myself emails a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, because I don't have notebooks.
I get it.
So now it goes all by email. So I can classify, I can file them, I can organize them, I can get themes.
I love learning about other people's like work habits, organizational
Yeah.
habits. Everyone's so different.
Yeah, which is fun.
This was so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Francis.
much. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah,
I was
what
a
a
bit
pleasure.
scared. In a way.
Why?
Yeah. 'Cause I didn't know what to expect. And also the name of your format was a kind of sounds kind of funny in a way.
We're American. We put on a show.
Fat mascara.
It's fat
It's not
mascara.
that
Yeah.
serious.
No, but it's like
It's joyful.
very much.
joyful,
So thank you,
it's fun.
thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Raise the One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.